Welcome back to the Archive Network. Aurelius here, with Malik, curators of the Conflict Archive. We left D-Day and liberation of France last time at yet for the Germans. Desperation breeds savagery die. Today, we pick up where we left off. The landscape of Normandy has transformed into a battlefield of mud and despair. Rain lashes the fields, turning earth into a mire that swallows hope. The Allies, having finally landed, now grapple with an enemy far more daunting than German troops, the land itself. Each step forward is a struggle against nature's fury, a testament to the human spirit's resilience.
That mud is more than a physical barrier. It symbolizes the immense toll on the soldiers. These men are not just fighting an enemy, they're battling exhaustion and the elements. The liberation you're describing isn't a grand sweep of victory, but a grueling slog through despair. Every hedgerow becomes a fortress, and every village a potential grave.
The Allies are truly facing a relentless onslaught of fire and loss. Just look at Carentan. The Americans are wading through house-to-house combat in a town that's been reduced to nothing but rubble. Every doorway could be a sniper's nest, a potential death trap. The price they pay is staggering. They inch forward, but we have to ask ourselves, what are they really gaining? Every inch comes at a cost that echoes through history, reminding us of the harsh realities of war.
The price is measured in lives, Aurelius. Those paratroopers aren't just statistics. They're brothers, sons, and fathers. When you call it a cost, you risk reducing their sacrifice to mere numbers. Each man has a story, a family waiting for him at home. The reality is haunting. Men are thrust into brutal close-quarters combat, terrified that any sign of retreat could mean their end. They fight not just for victory, but for the lives they hold dear.
You're not wrong about the humanity involved. But let's consider the broader context. The fighting in Carentan is emblematic of the chaos that envelops Normandy. The Allies are in a race against time. Every moment counts as they push toward liberation. The stakes are enormous, soldiers risking their lives and civilians caught in the crossfire. The outcome here will shape not just France's future, but the very landscape of Europe. History is unfolding before our eyes.
A race against time shouldn't overshadow the harsh reality of the struggle. Civilians trapped in towns like Caen are living through a different kind of horror. Bomber planes are flattening entire neighborhoods, and those who survive are crammed into cellars, praying for a glimmer of hope, an end to this madness. The promise of liberation can easily morph into a scene of devastation, where survival depends on luck alone. Each day is a fight, and each face tells a story of resilience.
True. The landscape of war is laced with irony. Allied fighter bombers dominate the skies, yet every strike risks collateral damage. Roads littered with destroyed German equipment tell one story, while the bodies of civilians tell another. The Allies may have the upper hand in the air, but the ground tells a far more complicated tale.
And this is where the despair of the German soldiers really hits home. They're ordered to hold their positions at all costs, but many are starting to lose faith in that command. Some decide to desert, feeling the weight of hopelessness, while others surrender, terrified of what might happen to them if they're captured. It's a heartbreaking situation for everyone involved, each person grappling with their own fears and the harsh realities of war that seem ever more overwhelming.
Desperation breeds savagery, as we've seen in places like Oradour-sur-Glane. The SS executed hundreds of civilians, a brutal act designed to instill fear and maintain control. When empires resort to such cruelty, they think they can silence dissent. But in reality, it only ignites the flames of resistance among the local populace, pushing them to rise up against their oppressors. History shows us that oppression often sows the seeds of rebellion, and the cycle continues.
That cruelty isn't just a strategy. It's a symptom of desperation. The war becomes deeply personal, not just for soldiers, but also for the civilians caught in the crossfire. Families are torn apart, lives shattered. The Allies, feeling the weight of their own losses, sometimes cross lines themselves. They execute prisoners and commandeer homes, all in the name of survival. It's a grim reality that exposes the cost of warfare, where humanity often gets lost in the chaos.
That brutality is a stain on both sides. Yet we see the Allies gearing up for Operation Cobra, a decisive move that could change the tide. On July 25th, they plan to unleash a relentless barrage meant to shatter German lines. The goal: to break free into open country. This would allow armored units to advance unimpeded, avoiding the bogged-down fighting that's defined so much of this conflict. We know history often reveals the cost of such ambitions.
But that very plan comes with risks. The bombers might end up killing their own people too, which is a heartbreaking reminder of the true cost of war. While hope rises amid the rubble, the Allies need to really think about the impact of their choices. Liberation isn't just a simple story. It's intertwined with loss and suffering that affects real lives. Behind every decision, there are families torn apart and communities grappling with the aftermath.
As June slips into July, Normandy transforms into a battleground where every inch is fiercely contested. The Allies brace themselves for their next challenge, not just for territory, but for the very soul of Europe. With each act of violence, the stakes rise higher. We are witnessing a struggle where the future of nations hangs by a thread, and the echoes of this conflict will resonate long after the dust settles. History is being written here, and it's a grim reminder of what power can demand.
That's where we leave it this time. D-Day and liberation of France continues. The story isn't finished yet. Find the full series on the Conflict Archive, part of the Archive Network. We'll be back with the next chapter.